What's going on, everybody? It's your boy E2 Blue coming at you again with another video. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about draft prospects coming out the draft this year and just a couple of draft picks that the Cowboys might be looking at potentially. We picked 19 this year, so some of these guys probably won't be on our range of realm unless we move up or move back. But knowing Jerry Jones, he could be doing. He'll do anything. He'll surprise you this year. One thing I'm excited about, though, before I get into this video, as you see behind me, finally got my wall done. Looks kind of smooth. I don't know how it looks on the camera, but in real life, it's pretty good. I got the navy blue wall here. Got my silver star up. I hope you guys like that because I like it. It looks cool. I'm still gonna be doing some other things in here. Once I get my tripod, I'll be able to get like a wide view so you guys will be able to see more of what I'm doing. So, this is just the beginning of hopefully something special. But I'm going to get into this. So, first of all, we have 10 picks total in this draft. So we have our first round, we have our second round, we have a third, we have a fourth. We don't have a fifth. We have a 6th and a 7th. Now, we don't have a 5th because we sent that to the Jets so we can get Xavier Woods in the last draft. Now, as most of you guys know, Xavier Woods have done pretty good in his rookie year this past season. So I don't think that was a bad choice, so not having a 5th round pick. But we are going to get 4 compensatory picks, which, simple math, we'll now have 10 picks. So I don't know where those picks are. We may actually get a 5th with a compensatory pick, depending on how the players that we lost work. So if you guys don't know, compensatory picks are basically contingent upon players that you lost that are doing well with other teams. We lost Barry Church. He did pretty good this year. So that's where our 4 come from. I think got him. I don't know, J.J. Wilcox. I mean, he went to 2 different teams. I don't know if he's still with Pittsburgh. He's with Pittsburgh and the Buccaneers, but I don't know. I haven't been watching him, so I don't know what he's done. So we lost Mo Claiborne, so we get 1 for that. And I think Ron Leary, the Broncos. I think that's another one. Who's the 4th? I don't remember who the 4th is, but the players that we lost, we got 4 compensatory picks for that. Hopefully we can get our 5th back just off of that pick. But the good thing about the compensatory picks this year, the league allowed teams to actually trade them. Now, I don't necessarily want to trade them unless there's a guy that we really want to get in the draft. We'll see how that works when draft time comes. I'm excited about that. Now, this year, one position that I love is linebacker because I played it when I played in high school and when I played a little bit in the Arena League. Linebacker is my position. I love it. But unfortunately, in this draft, it's not many. I think it's like 3 that are actually really good. And I'm going to go over 2 of those guys in this breakdown that I'm about to do now. But I don't think we might have to get a linebacker in free agency if we don't keep Anthony Hitchens. And I really don't want to lose Anthony Hitchens based off the fact that, we don't have Matt Eberflus as our linebacker coach no more. And as you guys know, he's now coaching with the Colts. And the Colts actually need linebackers. They need middle linebackers. They need that Mike. So, I mean, that might be a good thing for them if they can get Anthony Hitchens. But I don't think we're going to be able to keep him because we only have $19 million to spend right now unless we do some adjusting on people's contracts. I mean, we got to get DeMarcus Lawrence in here, to keep him. But I don't think they're going to be able to agree on an actual contract, so they might have to franchise tag him. I think for defensive ends this year, I think that's like $17 million. But they may be willing to pay him that just for a year, just to see what he's going to do in this year. Now, if DeMarcus Lawrence does good in this year, then they could potentially sign him to a bigger contract next year, which actually, in my opinion, would actually be a little smarter than anything. So, back to the draft. So, NFL.com their actual pick that they think that their mock draft, who they think that the Cowboys are going to pick at the 19th in the first round, 19th pick, is Taven Bryant. He's a defensive tackle out of Florida. He's 6'4", 295 pounds, and he has excellent upfield quickness, which fits Marinelli's scheme because he's actually kind of small for a defensive tackle, and I guess frame wise, not weight wise, but in frame wise. But Marinelli likes those guys, almost like the underdog type of guys. But he likes the smaller, quicker guys more than the big refrigerator with legs type of guys, so to speak. But this guy Tavin, he's projected to go later in the rounds, in the first round, so we potentially have a chance to get him. There are a couple of teams that need defensive linemen that are picking around the same time as us because they're losing some of their players either to retirement or free agency, but we'll see how that goes. That's basically who they wanted to pick, that they projected the Cowboys to pick. Me personally, and I'm gonna talk about him too. I want an offensive. I want a guard in the first round because we need to continue to solidify this line and make sure that Ezekiel Elliott got truck holes to run through. Because I'm telling you, if we continue to keep our offensive line intact, I mean, with Ezekiel Elliott, and if Lord, I hope nothing happens to him this year where he gets in trouble. I mean, we haven't heard anything from him in the offseason, so hopefully he's keeping his nose clean. But if he can stay on this field in 2018, I mean, there's not going to be no stopping. I mean, he's going to get his numbers back up. And first of all, he's going to be running angry anyway because he hasn't been able to play. And that should open up some of the wide receivers and stuff. So, like I said, there's a few wide receivers on here I'll be talking about too as well. Like I said, right now we don't have a 5th round pick, but we could get that back with the compensatory. So we have 10 picks. So, hopefully the Cowboys will do something smart this year and pick right. So the biggest offseason needs that the Cowboys are projected is tight end. Now, to me, you still got Jason Witten up there. So Cowboys are not good at drafting tight ends, unfortunately, because of the simple fact that Jason Witten ain't coming off the field. Like I said, I like the core guys that we do have. I really like Hannah. A lot of people don't really pay attention to him because he doesn't catch the ball that much, but that's because he doesn't get the opportunity. Now, you've seen in some games this year where he actually did score a touchdown and he caught a couple of long passes. He's got the ability to do all that, but we just don't get it. We don't. There's really not that many opportunities behind Jason Witten because, like I said, he's not coming off the field. There's not a big crop of tight ends coming out the draft this year, but we'll see. Right tackle, guard. I was just talking about guard. Now, like I said, me personally, I want that in the first round. I just want us to get that out the way because winning games starts in the trenches. Offensive line and defensive line. Those are the two biggest things that, in my opinion, that we need. We need offensive guard and we need some defensive tackles. So guard and defensive tackle, those are two other needs that we need, and linebacker, of course. I just stated that we may lose Anthony Hitchens. If we do, in fact, lose Anthony Hitchens, we definitely need a draft pick or a free agent, somebody that could come in to complement both Jalen Smith and Sean Lee. Because, again, we already know Sean Lee has an injury history. He's a monster, but it's frustrating because you got a guy that's so good, but he can't stay healthy. Because, I mean, he goes 110% every time. I mean, the boy is out there doing what he can to try to salvage stuff, but he's just putting his own body at risk. Now, I can't blame him for that, but that's just the way football is. So there's some prospects to watch. First one, Mark Andrews is a tight end out of Oklahoma. Now, again, I don't know if if the Cowboys are even entertaining trying to get a tight end. We'll see. But this guy, I caught my eye. I like Mark Andrews because he could be definitely, whenever Jason Witten decides he wants to retire, I mean, he's Iron Man, but he's going to have to retire sometime. Now, if we get a guy like Mark Andrews, in my opinion, Mark Andrews is like a replacement. He's almost, he could be like Dak's new security blanket. whenever he was retired. This guy is 6'4". He's 250 pounds, and he's great at getting yards after the catch, just fighting through the defender to reach these yards, almost like a tight end version of Des Bryant. You guys know Baker Mayfield, the highly touted quarterback from Oklahoma coming out the draft this year. He was Mark Andrews was his tight end in college. So if you go back and watch some of the film from Oklahoma this past year, you already know that Baker Mayfield is a monster in his own right, and he had his security blanket was Mark Andrews, and you watch Mark Andrews out there, he was like Jason Witten in his prime, just a little faster, but I mean, the boy was like a truck. So I don't know if he's even an option for the Cowboys, but like I said, we'll see his closest to the draft. Another guy, defensive tackle, Hercules Mataafa. I mean, first of all, you name your child Hercules. You already knew he was going to be an NFL player. I mean, Hercules, that is a strong name. First of all, if I'm sitting here, if I'm on offense, I'm running back, and I'm looking on the opposite side of the field, and I see a defensive tackle named Hercules Mataafa. I mean, it's got power to it. It's like, before you even see this guy play, it's like, Hercules? We about to go up against Hercules? I don't know about that. But anyway, he's a defensive tackle out of Washington State. Actually, he's for him to have a strong name, he has a smaller frame. He's only 250 pounds at that position. But he can definitely get upfield quick. Again, in our defensive scheme, from what Marinelli likes, he likes the smaller, athletic, quick guys, in his front seven. So, they might go after guys like Hercules. You never know. Marinelli let's go get Hercules. Because, like I said, he's definitely a guy that Marinelli would definitely go for. He has real quick burst. He has one of the best bursts out of, all of the defensive tackles coming out of the draft in the front seven. It's not really... I mean, a lot of teams probably not going to want him, only because a lot of teams in the NFL likes those big refrigerator guys to clog up holes and get through the line. But like I said, we got smaller players already on the team, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that one. Another guy, the first linebacker I'm going to talk about, I'm not really high on him, but I'm going to talk about him anyway. His name is Kai Moore. He's a Gamecock, South Carolina. He has pretty good stats, though. He accumulated 346 tackles and a whopping 14 picks. Yeah, 14 picks at the linebacker position. For those of you that play football, you know that it's not easy to get interceptions at the linebacker position. I mean, you literally have to get some lucky pop-ups or somebody hit a dude and the ball popped out. I mean, it's really hard to get 14 picks in your career in college at the linebacker position. That's pretty impressive. Actually, I'm gonna have to do some more reviews on him, because I don't know what round he's going to. I want to say maybe second round. That might be a pick for the second round. Get a linebacker. But like I said, 346 tackles, 14 picks in his career as a Gamecock. Now, I was talking about a linebacker being a good complement to Jalen Smith and Sean Lee. He definitely solidifies that as a great compliment. Like I said, if we in fact lose Anthony Hitchens, he would definitely be a great comp to be in that position to, keep us in line. So, Sean Lee doesn't have to do all that work. Jalen Smith, he says that he's 100%, but he still has a drop foot. It's still there. Jalen Smith can't, if it's in front of him, he can get it, but he can't cut as well yet until that drop foot is healed, if it ever, in fact, does heal up properly. Christian Kirk, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. He's a local guy for the Dallas natives. He is something that the Cowboys could use because he's a speedster. He can blow the top off the defense. Now, our wide receiver core is okay. But again, we don't have any speedsters, and we're going to lose Bryce Butler because he don't want to be here. Good riddance, whatever. Go back to Cali. I don't care. Like I said, Christian Kirk, he's a speedster. He could blow the top off of that defense, and we need somebody like that to complement. I mean, if we keep Dez Bryant, if somehow we keep Dez, he would be a good complement to both him and T. Will because you got that, because basically all our wide receivers are the same. We got two short ones. We have a body catcher in T. Will, and then we have Dez Bryant. They can catch the ball up high, but I guess if Dez and Dak get some better chemistry, hopefully he could do better. I'm not down on Dak like a lot of you guys. I mean, I'm not down on Dez Bryant like a lot of you guys are. I just think that there's other factors. There was a reason why he didn't produce that well this year. But another thing that Dez has to do better. The one thing that I will criticize Dez about, and I'm sorry to go off topic, but I just gotta say this. The one thing that I criticize Dez about is the fact that when things are not going well in the game, or he's not getting the ball, or somebody batted the ball out, the cornerback did his job and covering Dez, he gets frustrated. So when he gets frustrated, when he does get a big play, what he does is he carries a damn ball like a loaf of bread. He loses all of his concentration, and he lets the guy get in his head, and then what happens is he starts making mistakes. Then what does he do? He fumbles the ball, he'll fall, or the ball pop out. Something crazy would happen, and it would just negate everything, all the positivity he just did. So sometimes he just needs to keep his head in the game, catch the ball, go down, do his steps, whatever. Make sure that you got the ball, and live to fight another play. Because when you're doing things the right way, you're going to get more passes. Now, you're doing silly stuff like that, that's when people start to criticize you. And then we got to hear Stephen A. Smith and his shit about, that good old Cowboys. And I'd get tired of hearing that every day. So, again, if you don't want to get criticized, catch the damn ball. Anyway, back to this. Now, next person is, I just stated in the beginning of the video and in my previous videos, I really like Will Hernandez out of UTEP, Texas El Paso. This dude is like a goddamn bowling ball. He's like a bowling ball. I mean, talk about clogging. Cowboys could really use him to complement Tyron Smith. Just imagine Tyron Smith, Will Hernandez, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Lyle Collins. Oh my God, the possibilities on that line. Nobody's going to be able to penetrate our line if we get Will Hernandez in here. I want Will Hernandez in the first round. I'm going to say it right now. I don't care what anybody else say. I want Will Hernandez in the first round. I want us to pick. If he's available at 19, I don't give a damn what they got to do. If they got to go up a couple of picks, do some trading, but they need to get Will Hernandez. Let me throw off some stats about him. First of all, his strengths. I just said that he's a bowling ball, right? He has a massive power. And his mentality is like, I'm bigger than you. I'm going to stop you dead in your tracks. And I'm going to blow you all the way off the ball. That way, you're not even going to be able to get to my quarterback. You're not going to get to my running back. That's it. You're done. You stop. All those little bull rush moves halt you right there. His name should have been Hercules for real. But like I said, he's a massive guy. Now, the only weaknesses that was basically said about him is that, and I don't think it's really a weakness because it's speculation. People think that because you're big, you're slow, if you're dealing with a defensive tackle or defensive end that's rushing you, that's faster than you, and he gets to the point of attack before you, he'll be able to get around you. But again, like I said, this guy is massive. You're probably not getting around him. You may get lucky on certain stints, but you're not getting around Will Hernandez. If you watch some tapes from him from UTEP, I mean, it's not many plays that, I mean, he's blowing everybody off the ball. Like, he's not, nobody's getting past him. I mean, he's out there just a force to be reckoned with. Now, again, we understand that it's different between the college and the pros because you're dealing with grown men in the pros. And these defensive tackles and defensive linemen in the pros are much more powerful than they are in college because they've honed their skills. They have a lot of different moves. And again, just like we watch film on other teams watch film on us. So they see our tendencies and they're able to try to counteract that. Now, again, another thing Cowboys got to do better. Teams are able to counteract what we're doing, which means that as an offense, you have to be ever changing. You have to change every day. If you're not changing every day, you're getting stagnant. You're getting too comfortable, and then what happens? Like this year, we're 9-7 because we keep doing the same shit over and over again, and you can't do that. You got to keep things fresh. You got to keep things moving. You got to keep guys motivated first of all, because when Chaz Green was out there, when we lost against the Falcons, when Dak kept getting hit, it's the lack of confidence you could see. Because Chaz Green doesn't suck. I mean, because he's been in there and played very well before. There's been games where Chaz Green played for injury, and when he played for Tyron Smith a couple of games last year and the year before, you didn't even know that he was even in the game. When you don't notice an offensive lineman, that means they're doing their job. So you only notice them when they're messing up. When you don't notice them, they blocking players off. Now, people don't pay attention to that because that's a boring position. Everybody's watching what the receivers are doing or what the running backs are doing. They're watching the ball. They're not necessarily watching that. But if you go back and watch a lot of tape, you'll see that earlier Chaz Green was doing good. But whatever that game, the coach, I blame that on the coaching staff because they didn't make the necessary adjustments. They didn't pull a tight end over because they definitely could have went jumbo package, or they could have put a 2 tight end set where they had both Witten and Hannah in there, and they could have used Hannah to block and Jason Witten out in the flat to catch the ball. I mean, these are simple adjustments that we have to do on a daily basis to keep the defense guessing. And now I hate to keep going back to the Super Bowl and the Eagles, but again, damn Eagles. Anyway, the Eagles won the Super Bowl for a reason because they changed and they switched things up. They adjusted. Cowboys, we need to adjust. If you don't adjust, you're going to get beat every damn time. And then other teams are going to look at you like a joke. They're going to go into the game and they're going to be like, oh, we don't need to do anything. I could just do one move on them. Because that defensive lineman, Claiborne, forget his first name, but the Falcons guy, he's not even that good. He doesn't even have that many moves. And if you see, he didn't do a whole lot towards the end of the season. I don't even think he even made the Pro Bowl, even with those 5-6 sacks that he had in that one game. But again, you let an average guy beat you, and we can't keep getting embarrassed like that. But again, back to Will Hernandez. Will Hernandez is 6'3", 340 pounds. 340 pounds. Granted, he's big, but he moves defenders off the ball at will. At will, Will Hernandez. He moves players off the ball at will. Not even trying, just get out of here. Get out of here. He's like every defensive player's nightmare. When they see Will Hernandez on the opposite side of that field and they look up and it's like, oh. It's like a dogfight. They just get tired. Like he literally takes the energy out of these defenders when they come up and block. When they try to get past them. You're not getting past Will Hernandez. You're not. I mean, he excels at run blocking. He's pretty decent at pass blocking too, but his strength is run blocking. Like I said, Tyron Smith, Will Hernandez, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Lyle Collins on that line. Woo! Just imagine that starting lineup. Come on now. Ezekiel Elliott going to be running in his sleep. He going to be eating all day. And you know I'm getting Zeke in fantasy this year because I'm telling you, if we get Will Hernandez at the 19th pick in the first round, y'all going to see me because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at the draft. So y'all going to see me jumping up. I'm gonna be on the camera like, yeah. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, like, this dude right here, and so I need some of you fans to look more into some of these guys that I'm talking about too as well for your own knowledge, because when we get to the draft, you guys will be rooting for your players, and like I said, he's definitely one of my favorites. So next guy, now this guy, I don't, I'm not gonna say I don't like him, but I've seen some Cowboy analysts that will actually work for the team talk about him, and some other YouTubers talk about him. Vita Vea, defensive tackle out of Washington. He's 6'5", also 340 pounds. He's a monster, and he's built like a goddamn fire hydrant. I mean, just sturdy as hell. Now, a lot of his, a lot. Because I'm gonna start with his weaknesses. So a lot of his weaknesses are, he's known for same thing that they said about Taco Charlton when he came out of the draft last year when we picked him first round. They say that Vita Vea doesn't have much of a motor, meaning like he's a sometime player. Sometimes he'll rush you, sometimes he'll get through, sometimes like it seems like he'll take plays off. Now, when scouts are watching and people are watching film on these players got to realize you can't take no plays off even in college, because when they're watching your tapes. So, that might hurt your draft stock. That might hurt your draft stock, when you do things like that, because then when they're watching film, they're like, okay, well, he doesn't have a high motor. Now, he's probably going to get picked in the first round still, more than likely, because his strengths definitely outweigh his weaknesses. Like I said, 6'5", 340-pound monster, built like a goddamn fire hydrant. He's considered one of the strongest prospects in the entire draft, and that's all positions. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to get picked before us. I don't think he's going to make it to 19 anyway, so we might as well go with that offensive guard like I want, because we can always get a D tackle in the second round. There's enough of them that are decent that we can get one in the second round, either defensive tackle or linebacker. He uses more counter moves against the run than pass. Now, he's a very good counter player. He's not necessarily going to bull rush you, but for his size, though, he's pretty quick again. Marinelli likes the quick guys. They like the guys that are light on their feet. And for him to be a big guy, he's pretty light on his feet as for a big guy. That's pretty impressive, because, the bigger you are, the heavier footed you are. And for you to be that graceful, to be that big, that's definitely something. That's rare. That's rare in this league. He can also line up as an end rusher too. So depending on whether you're running a 3-4 or 4-3, he can actually fit either way. He's definitely the type of guy that can go both ways in that aspect. In his sophomore year, he was voted second team all-conference, compiling 39 stops, 6.5 tackles for losses, and 5 sacks in that year. So he's an option, but again, I don't think that he's going to be there at 19. I think that he might get picked earlier than that. Like last year when I wanted us to get T.J. Watt, and you see what he's doing now with Pittsburgh. Everybody doesn't like our first round pick. Everybody doesn't like Taco Charlton, but I was like, give him another year, see what he does. Let him mature a little bit and get some moves. DeMarcus Ware was talking about he wanted to come back and mentor the Cowboys players, whether he gets on the staff or whether he's just doing it on his own merits. He's still going to be there. So, I mean, he can look. Taco can definitely look up at DeMarcus Ware and even other players on the team that are doing well, like DeMarcus Lawrence, and just look at the things that they're doing and try to, harness your skills and better yourself as a player, as a defensive lineman. Now, our old Hall of Fame defensive end Charles Haley had some things to say about Taco Charlton and just the team in general, saying that Jerry Jones built the team around a bunch of losers. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm not going to argue with Charles Haley because he's won a bunch of Super Bowls, not just with us, but with San Fran before he came to us. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to argue with the great. But That's Charles Haley. I mean, he was a monster, and he just expects the teams to do the things that they did in the '90s, and we got to do better. We have to do better. Jerry Jones built this beautiful stadium. He's got this beautiful facilities, the Star at Frisco. He's got all this wonderful stuff, but our team is not producing. But we have to do better. Again, that just goes back to knowing how to use our players. We have talent. It's not like we don't have talent. I mean, even with all the crazy stuff that happened, we still were 9-7. Now, a lot of people don't like Jason Garrett, but again, Jason Garrett is. I think that he's a better motivational speaker than he is a coach, but that's just my opinion, and I'm pretty sure some of my other YouTubers agree too. Um, they don't want him as a coach, but he's definitely good at getting the players to give in to what he's saying. A lot of coaches can't do that. You know, you hear some coaches talk like Wade Wilson. He wasn't a good. I mean, not Wade Phillips. When Wade Phillips was a coach, he was. There's nothing wrong with being a player's coach, but you can't let your players run you. You still have to be stern. They still have to know that you are the coach, you are the leader of the team, and they are supposed to follow you. Now, one thing I can say about Jason Garrett that is good, and don't kill me for this, but like I said, he's good at getting the team to take into what he's saying, and you already know that because if you watch the player interviews and when the media is talking to the players, they're actually saying things that you hear Jason Garrett say in his press conferences. But that's neither here nor there. Next guy I want to talk about is a wide receiver, and this guy knows Dez Bryant very well because went to Oklahoma State, which is the same school that Dez Bryant went to, and he modeled his game after Dez in a lot of ways. And he even said when they did the interviews on him at the Senior Bowl, you know, he was talking to Nick Eatman from DallasCowboys.com, basically saying, you know, I look up to Dez, I modeled my play after him, and when Dez comes back and sees us, you know, I try to play my best because he's my idol. That's all cool. But let's see what he does. This guy is 5'11", 210 pounds. His pros are his ball skills, and he's able to get past defenders. Now again, that's what you need to do. But again, his con is route running. Now, we don't necessarily need a guy on this team that's not great at route running. We need more guys that are great at route running. Now, I don't know if it's the way Oklahoma State runs their offense, but Dez had the same attributes. He came out, he wasn't a great route runner. He's gotten a little better since he's been with the team. But Dez is not a cerebral guy to the point that he's got his route running down pat. He's not that type of guy. But, you know, his athletic ability to catch the ball up the top, down low to the side, that's what carries him over. But again, when you get into this league in the NFL, you have to learn how to run routes better. I mean, simple as that. You're not going to be a number one wide receiver in this league if you can't. Even on a sucky team like the Browns, you got to be able to not only just get past these defenders, but you gotta run your routes. Because if you don't run your routes, that's how the quarterback throws the interceptions, because you're not where you're supposed to be or where the quarterback thinks that you're going to be. Because those of you that have never played football or don't understand that when a quarterback throws the ball, he's throwing to the spot where the receiver is going, not necessarily to the receiver. Quarterbacks that typically do that, if you ever see games where like the ball is behind the receiver and they have to turn back to catch it, those are things that we don't need. You don't need that. Next guy I'm going to talk about, Tremaine Edmonds. Now, Tremaine Edmonds is the best linebacker in this draft. Now, that's not saying much, only because there's, like I said in the beginning of the video, there's not that many linebackers in this draft that are even good. But if I have to say one that's a monster, Tremaine Edmonds is definitely a monster. Now, I'm going to throw off some of these stats from him. He went to Virginia Tech. Now, Virginia Tech, we haven't had a lot of players drafted that much out of Virginia Tech. A lot of guys, you know, that have been undrafted free agents. You know, the biggest one, of course, you know, was Michael Vick. But this linebacker right here, they compare him to Brian Urlacher. Now, to compare this guy to Brian Urlacher, and he hasn't played a down in the NFL yet, that's pretty high praise. And these are coming from reliable sources. This ain't no somebody talking over a beer in their backyard about it. These are actual analysts and people and scouts and people that have been watching him over the time of his collegiate career, been saying that, hey, this guy is like a Brian Urlacher. And I'm probably sure he's going to be picked in the top 5, if not the top 10. He's not going farther. So he's definitely not going to be a player that we're going to be able to get unless we move up. But I doubt that. I don't know if you guys know his father, Farrell Edmonds. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler out of Miami. He was a tight end though. His dad was a tight end. Played for Miami. He was a pro. He made the Pro Bowl both '89 and '90. For those of you that are young, probably wouldn't know anyway, so it doesn't matter. He's definitely one of the top linebackers in the country. Because again, like I said, there's not that many great linebackers in this draft, so it's not many to choose from. So a lot of teams are really going to have to turn to free agency to get some linebacker depth, unless you're just trying to put a guy on your practice squad and develop him. But this guy you don't need to put on. This guy can start day one. So all the teams are going to need a linebacker. They're going to be rushing to try to get this guy early in the draft. He's probably going to be up there with the quarterbacks. That's probably how high he's going to get drafted this year, I believe. So in 2016, he started 14 games, 14 times. He compiled 106 tackles and 18.5 tackles for loss. And to add to that, 4.5 sacks. That's in 2016. 2017, he recorded a team-high 109 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 5.5 sacks. Oh, and 3 forced fumbles. Now, that's what he didn't do in the year before. But those 3 forced fumbles, that's key. That's a guy that sees the play developing, and he attacks it. Now, some players that are very aggressive like that normally gets run out of plays, but he's able to get there at the point of attack and just stop it. I mean, as you can see, that's pretty impressive. 18 tackles for a loss in a season at the linebacker position. That's pretty damn good. I mean that was his defensive line doing their job, and he's just running straight through and just tackling the quarterback or the running back coming into space and just tackling for a loss. That's pretty damn impressive. Now, he has a unique size. Like I said, he's 6'5". Most linebackers are my height, 5'11", 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3" at the most. But 6'5", that's a big guy. That's a big guy for a linebacker position. I'm pretty sure that some 3-4 teams are probably going to put him with his hand in the dirt and make him pass rush. But like I said, he has unique size. He has his wingspan is ridiculous. And he's very rangy, and he's excellent in his lateral quickness. He uses his size and speed to cast out wide. Like I said, he's got that arm strength. He's got them long arms. So his tackle box is wide. You know, his playmaking ability, because he just widens his stance and he just hits you at the point of attack. Now, this is what we need in the Cowboys. We need more of this. Check this out. He tackles at a high efficient rate, meaning he don't miss no tackles. When that running back cutting up and he sees him, boom, down, done. None of that shoestring tackle, none of that, I'm going to hit you with my shoulder. No, wrap him up and put him on the damn ground. That's what he does. Now, again, I don't think that he's going to be available for us. I'm pretty sure that he's going to get picked way earlier than 19th. But like I said, the draft is one of those things where stuff happens. Magic happens at the draft, so you never know. Like I said, if he's there, he could definitely be a potential guy, but I don't think he's going to be available because he's too good. Now, some of his weaknesses are he's more athletic than he has instincts. Now his instincts are subpar; they're average at the most. But because he's such an athletic player, he's able to counteract that. But again, when he gets into the league, you're playing against grown men. It's different than in college. You're going to be playing against teams that are not great now. But in the NFL, everybody good, even the Cleveland Browns. Everybody's in the NFL for a reason. Everybody is at the pro level. At the pro level, it's different. So some of those little things that you did in college, you're not going to be able to manipulate once you get to the pros. So some of that stuff changes. Also, he moves before he diagnoses plays sometimes. Meaning, like, he'll react first before he actually sees what's going on in the game. So sometimes what happens is with linebackers or rush ends, whatever have you, sometimes they're thinking too fast and they'll go straight to the quarterback or they'll go straight to the play thinking that the play is coming here. But if it's a trick play, and just like how with mobile quarterbacks like we have with Dak, where he'll fake hand it off to Ezekiel Elliott going to the right, but he's still got the ball. He's running to the left. See, plays like that, he's going to get washed out because he's still over here with Ezekiel Elliott thinking Elliott got the ball, and Dak then ran for 18 yards up this way, and now you washed out of the play. So that's one of the weaknesses that he has. He reacts before he diagnoses the plays. Now, that's what Sean Lee has always been good at. He's a thinker before he reacts. He's very well at diagnosing plays. Now, these weaknesses for Tremaine Edmonds can be fixed. Now, if for some reason or if some way he can come to the Dallas Cowboys, Sean Lee could definitely coach that up himself. You don't even need a linebackers coach, because I guess we got Ben Bloom at that position now coaching, but you don't even need to talk to Ben. All Sean Lee got to do is be in there watching tape with him. Like, look, these are some of your weaknesses. Be a little bit more patient. Sometimes you got to be a little bit more patient before you react, because so many players want to come in and boom, boom, bow, boom, but they're not thinking before they get to that point. So, like I said, you got to think before you react. And when I played, I was very good at that until I tore my knee up. But what you barking for? That's my dog. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for right now. Actually, today I'm going to be going over Mark Holmes. Shout out to Mark Holmes. I'm going to be at his house today. We're going to be going over more of these potential drafts. Compare and contrast to see what I have, what he has, and what some of our other Cowboy YouTubers have. But that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed what I was talking about. Some of these guys that I was talking about, some of them the Cowboys may actually get to draft. Some of these guys are going to be out of reach, but these are just some names that I like and some names that are, potentials that the Cowboys need. So, you got to draft for need. And these are some of the players that we need. So, on that note, I'm out. It's another video by your boy E2 Blue. And oh yeah, support your boy. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.